Hi there and welcome to Golf Center. I'm Bob Stevens alongside Jesse Punch this week. Jesse's filling in for Chris.
I am.
No golf tips from you,
No,
though?
no golf tips for me. We do have some from Chris coming up later, though.
Yeah, you do. You love the game.
I do love the game.
But you're not teaching it yet.
I'm not teaching it yet, no.
All right, Chris will join us a little later in the show with a special tip that he has created along with one of his star pupils, Tokes Pedro from the Junior Players Golf Academy. Tokes is going off to Rutgers to play college golf, like free scholarship and all that good stuff. They're going to teach us a little bit. We got some other folks on the show who are going to teach us a lot as well.
We do. We have Chris Hendricks here from the Golf Store Outlet. They've recently moved locations, so he's here to tell us a little bit about that and what the new things they have to offer. We also have Duke Delcher here from the Players Amateur coming up in a few weeks, and he's going to tell us a little more information on that.
Players Am is coming up. They always have a great field, great young players that you learn about now, and then you watch them a couple of years from now. They're playing on the tour, and they're making some big things happen. But first, let us get to the headlines. And let's begin with the real Tiger Woods. He's back.
He is back.
He is back, playing for the first time since the end of March when he had the back surgery. Actually, he hadn't played out on tour since early on in March. Saying all the right things, though, isn't he?
He is. He said he's back and he's feeling better than ever, so that should be good. He did say that the British Open was his target all along, so I'm anxious to see him come back and play this.
I think we are all anxious to see what happens. Of course, the British Open just 3 weeks away. At a course he has won on before, and of course Congressional he has won on before as well a couple of times. So Tiger's setting himself up. Is he setting us all up for a letdown, or
I don't know. I mean, Tiger goes into every tournament with the confidence that he can win it. And he's going into this Quicken Loans National, having already won it twice. It benefits his own charity, and I think that if he performs well there, then we'll see him coming back. We'll see him performing well.
Best news is he's smiling again, and that makes all of us in the world of golf smile when he's not grimacing in pain. Out on the PGA Tour this past week, an amazing run to the finish by the winner, Kevin Streelman in Hartford at the Travelers Championship. Yeah, he looks surprised, maybe because he is. The guy made 7 consecutive birdies on his last 7 holes to win the tournament. You realize, I mean, obviously that's hard. Do you realize he had to do it? If he makes 6 out of the 7, he gets into a playoff. If he only makes 5 of the 7, and that's still an unbelievable finish, he still loses by 1. But he made 7 straight
out of
birdies.
7.
He made his last 10 putts. Try that. The next time you are out on the golf course, stop when you miss a putt. He made his last 10 putts of the 10 one-putt greens coming down the stretch. An unbelievable finish. Kevin Streelman is the winner. Sergio Garcia and KJ Choi finish a tie for second, just 1 shot back. Watch out for Sergio. Let me just tell you first, okay? You're the first one to know. Watch out for Sergio at the Open Championship because he's really played well the last few weeks. So
I think he could come in there, sneak up on us a little bit. I don't think anyone would see it.
Pick that one in the office pool. There you go. Maybe the big story, though, for this past week is the winner of the U.S. Women's Open, Michelle Wie. We have been talking about Michelle Wie for, more than a decade now, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, she played in 2003. She was only 13 years old when she played in the Women's Open, and she tied for 39th. So I think now that she's coming back as a 24-year-old, she's definitely proven herself.
Well, and after she was a 13-year-old and she's doing that and she's making all that, she's playing with the guys, and we're thinking, gee, can that actually really happen? And then, everything goes wrong, and she can't even play with the girls. She's not doing very well at all.
Right.
Gets her college degree from Stanford. You're in college.
I am.
How much of a load will it be off your back professionally to finally be through with school? Because it seems to have made all the difference for Michelle.
Well, I know I have trouble balancing out my intramural games with my homework. I don't know how I could balance out professional golf with my college workloads.
Indeed. Michelle Wie putting on a great show. Again, she is now the national champion. She had a great stretch run. She double bogey 16. Thought she was going to maybe let the tournament get away, but then makes a huge birdie putt at 17, pars 18, wins by a couple of shots over the #1 player in the world, Stacey Lewis. So she gets it done. Finishing 3rd in the tournament, Stephanie Meadow, an IJGA player from here on Hilton Head Island. Her parents still live here. Stephanie, of course, goes to school at Alabama, just turned pro. How about that? Your first pro tournament, you win $213,000. Have you got a deal like that coming out of college?
No, I know I don't, but that's incredible for her and her family.
But Stephanie Meadows certainly doing very well. And Lucy Lee, speaking of 13-year-olds, when she played, Lucy Lee was 11.
11 years old. She's going into 6th grade in the fall.
You think there should be an age limit on the women's for any golf?
Honestly, when
for any golf,
he can come out to the game and show up and perform and do as well as she did for being 11 years old, I don't think that they should limit that.
No, and
I really
again,
don't.
she wasn't handed a sponsor's exemption. This wasn't somebody inviting her. She played her way in. She earned it and did very well, handled herself very well. Didn't make the cut, but certainly handled herself well. And then finally, Tom Lehman is the winner on the Champions Tour this past week. The great old pro made a birdie putt on the final hole to win. So a lot of drama this past week.
It really was a lot of
guys
drama.
are making putts on the final hole to win. It's his first win in his last 27 starts. The Champions Tour, of course, playing another major, the Constellation Senior Players Championship outside of Pittsburgh coming up. So just a great week this past week in the world of golf, and a whole lot to look forward to with Tiger and with the run-up coming up, certainly for the British Open. In amateur golf in the area, so many people play golf here, and so many people play it seriously. Who's really the best? Probably this guy right here. J.D. Hoft of Bluffton won the Hilton Head Island Amateur Championship for the second straight year. You win it, and then you prove
Come back and win it again.
That's pretty good stuff. He only shot 74 in the final round. He only made one birdie in the final round, and it was on the final hole, but he still passed the guys who succumbed to the pressure, I guess you might say, and he was the winner in the Hilton Head Island Amateur at Bear Creek. Great player. He is going to be playing coming up in the Players Am at Berkeley Hall because he won a year ago, and now of course he's already won a spot in the 2015 Players Am at Berkeley Hall.
Right, Bob, and as you said,
we're going to talk about Berkeley Hall.
I know, Players Am's coming up, so we have Duke Delcher here to tell us a little bit more about that today. Maybe he can give us a few names on who we should look out for.
He was one of the guys who put the tournament together when it was founded, and I'm sure he's going to tell us a whole lot of things about this year's tournament when we come back right here on Golf Center. 84 of the best amateur players in the entire country are coming to Berkeley Hall right after the 4th of July for the Players Am, although now it's called the Players Amateur presented by Nautica. Duke Delcher and his pal Tom McKnight, the longtime Champions Tour player, founded the tournament. Boy, now you've got a big sponsor, Duke. What does that mean to the way you can operate the tournament?
Bob, it helps in a lot of ways. Obviously, from the fundraising side, it gives us a nice little cushion of money to ultimately go to the charities at the end of the day. It's going to be a fun thing for the kids. We always struggle with what do we give them, a dozen balls, a pair of golf shoes. They have all that stuff.
Sure.
But Nautica comes in and is obviously looking to expand their presence at the tour. Cameron Tringali, a past Players Amateur participant, is one of their guys on the tour now. So we're excited about the gift package, and I think the kids will be as well.
They've got some neat stuff. We're going to have to bring you in some Nautica gear. We'll do a fashion show.
I'm hoping they have a little package for the founder too. I have to tell you,
I'm
not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, you might get lucky there.
Tell us about some of the players who are coming.
We're excited. We've got a good field. Hunter Stewart is back as our defending champion, so we're delighted to have Hunter. If you remember, he missed the cut at the Heritage this year by a shot. He just missed the cut at the Open by a shot. So I think he's obviously playing some very good golf. Xander Lombard from South Africa, I think is the 3rd or 4th ranked amateur in the world right now. He's coming. Ali Schneiderjans, who is a great player from Georgia Tech. So we've got a very good field, Bob.
Not only the best national players, but you mentioned one of the international players. There's a great international contingent. Australians seem to love to come here.
Well, the Australians, we formed a little bit of a relationship with them years ago. Brad James, who was the coach at University of Minnesota years ago, he's down in Australia now and heads up their national team. We've got a great relationship with Brad, and I think we have 8 of their top players coming. Wow. As I said, South Africa, New Zealand, Canada, obviously U.S., we've got a pretty good field for sure.
Absolutely, and even some local players.
Locally, Andrew Orshak, big name there. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I mean, it's, he deserves to be in the field first and foremost. Ben Dietrich as well, who's going to the University of South Carolina, but lives locally. So we're excited about the local players. They deserve to be here. They weren't given a spot just because they're local. They deserve to be here.
Yeah, J.D. Hoff just won the Hilton Head Island Amateur. That gets him in next year, but he won it last year, which gets him in a couple of weeks. What does it say about the level of play here locally that you expect, I would imagine, JD to compete pretty well?
I think he will. Yeah, and I think having played before, it helps him as well because he knows what to expect a little bit.
Yeah. Great past players, the past players list. One of the happiest guys, I think, on Sunday at the RBC Heritage, besides Steve Wilmot and besides the winner, Matt Kuchar, was you, Duke Delcher. He's one of your guys. He's a past participant here.
Matt's not only a great player and a phenomenal individual, Matt's a good friend, and he's been a great friend of the tournament. And couldn't have been happier for him to win the event. It's great for the Heritage, it's great for the Players Amateur, it's great for golf. So
and you've had some great names like that play in this tournament in the past. This is why people who haven't been to the tournament before need to come. They're going to see the next Matt Kuchars and the next Camilo Villegas and other names like that.
Yeah, I mean, as you recall, we started this in 2000, and the year later, Ben Curtis was our first champion, and then he won the British Open. And we've gone right from there, and we've been very lucky. Yes,
absolutely. You still need help? You still need any volunteer help? You okay on that?
Thankfully, the membership at Berkeley Hall is very, very supportive from both the housing side and the volunteer side. We can always use some sponsor help to give money to the charities.
Okay.
We did start a couple years ago. We do a little thing now called the Two Club, and basically pledge $2 for every two the kids make during the event. And there's certainly opportunity to get involved in that. It's a fun thing. We've got a shirt and a hat that goes along with the logo for it, special logo. So that's something that's available if people want to do it.
How many twos? You were just going to ask that question. How many twos? How many twos got made?
If we get to play 4 rounds, we've been unfortunate the last 2 years. We only played 3 rounds. I would say you're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 twos.
How about that?
Wow.
That's a lot of birdies and a couple of eagles probably thrown in there. Just a terrific opportunity for folks to come out and watch. And again, it's free, right?
We hope they do. They'll enjoy seeing Berkeley Hall. They'll enjoy the golf course. They'll enjoy the entire event from start to finish. It's a good time, yes.
Playersam.com, the place to go for more information. It's going to be great. Duke, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Well, with all this talk about all the great local players and players coming into play at the Players Am, it has me thinking about my own golf game. Probably
Absolutely.
has you thinking about your game. So we have Chris Hendricks here from the Golf Outlet to tell us a little bit about their move and what they have to offer.
That's all coming up next, right here on Golf Center. Welcome back to Golf Center. We're now joined by Chris Hendricks of the Golf Store Outlet. Things have changed since we last had Chris on. Last time you were here, you were getting ready to move. You've moved. The Golf Store Outlet in Bluffton is not where it used to be. Where is it now?
First off, morning, Bob, Jesse,
Morning.
good to see you guys. Yes, we moved about a half a mile down on the same side of the road. We're now at 1202 Fording Island Road. It actually, for the residents that are still from here, it's the old Club Car building. So
Okay.
we're kind of right next to BMW and the Golden Corral and Wild Wings.
Okay. And you've moved the operation a little bit smaller building than you were in before, but
Correct.
still has all the goodies, right?
It's got everything as we had last time. We basically just downsized. We went from 15,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet. We're actually pretty excited because the other store was really, really big. Customers seemed to get lost. Now we can kind of guide them and keep everybody kind of in a confined area, put them in the right direction and not let them wander off and make sure that the experience is really good.
Right, and for customers who haven't been customers before, people who are just watching now and hearing about it, what do you want to tell them? What can they find at your Golf Store Outlet? A little bit of everything, or?
Yeah, pretty much a little bit of everything. I mean, we do used clubs, new clubs, clothing, accessories, golf balls. Our our main business is our custom building. We really cater to those golfers that are just starting out to play, or the higher handicaps that don't play that often, or maybe looking for a second set of clubs for their second home here. So we basically have really built our whole business on custom golf clubs, and we've been running some specials right now where you can come in and get a complete 11-piece set for $3.99, including a bag and a putter.
And the best part of that is, you mentioned custom. You're
Correct.
fitting them. I mean, it's like going in and getting a new suit. You're going to come out with golf clubs that fit your game.
Correct. We've got a hitting area in the back. We just purchased a new launch monitor, and we really focus on, like you said, the fitting. We want to know, how tall a customer is, how short a customer is, their arm length. We want to make sure the grip size is correct. We want to try to fit them in the right shaft and find the right club head that makes it, easy for them to hit the ball, because the main thing is we want them to have fun.
Yeah.
So
people who buy golf clubs off the rack, basically, they're crazy, aren't they?
Absolutely. And as you guys know, as we discussed this the last time, that's such a big thing. These companies, they make these clubs and it's like they build them for the average person. But as you guys know, I mean, not everybody's average.
Who's the average person?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've never met him.
So, doing the custom fitting, I mean, it works out well. Now, also, if people have a set of clubs they bought off the shelf or off the rack, bring them in. We can still fit you to those golf clubs. So.
Yeah, that's something we probably should stress as well. Don't throw out the ones you have.
No, absolutely not. Bring them in, let us take
Yeah.
a look at them, and let's see, what we can do. Do we need to extend them? Do we need to shorten them, change the grips, change the shafts? A lot of stuff can be done, so you don't feel like you've just thrown away money.
Well, and as you mentioned, that's something that's really great for especially new golfers or people who are just getting into the game to come into your store and get a good starting point there. Get a good bag ready and get them out on the course.
Right. We really focus on doing that, and like I said, we want them to be a good golfer. We want them to enjoy playing the game. We want them to have fun, but we don't want to just sell them something and get them out the door. We want them to come back, and we want them to trust us. So we make sure we really talk to every person that walks in. We greet them. We try to find out a little bit about them. We're not just going to say, hey, can we help you? We're going to ask them, what are they doing for the day? How often they play in golf? Where do they play? What are their goals, their expectations? And then we just try to help them as much as possible.
Weather's getting hot. What's hot? What's hot in golf right now?
Actually, right now, I would have to say drivers has been the big thing. Everybody's kind of going up or lofting up, I guess you would say, from like 9-degree drivers, 9.5 up to 10.5, 11.5, 12, 12.5. So we've actually been doing pretty well with a lot of drivers here recently.
Okay, so everybody needs to go out and get a new driver.
Yeah, exactly. So come by and see us.
The club makers have all figured that out. We always need a new driver every couple of years, no matter how many times we've hit it. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris.
Enjoyed it, guys. Good to see you.
Chris Hendricks, the Golf Store Outlet, again in their new location. It's called Golf Store Outlet, and it's out by the outlet. All right? Yeah, it's simple as that. When we come back, Chris Tremblay is going to have a special tip with one of his special students. That's next on Golf Center. Jesse, you ready to take some notes?
I am. I'm ready.
It is time for the Tremblay Tip. This one featuring his own JPGA player, Tokes Pedro.
Welcome back to Golf Center. I've asked Tokes Pedro, our student from the Junior Players Golf Academy, to tell us a few things about what he's working on in his game right now. I know from us being together out there, Tokes, we're really working on one thing with your putting and one thing with your full swing. Let's start out with your putting. Okay, you're a good putter, but we're always looking to improve. One of the drills we've had you doing right now is to help yourself get aligned a little better is the simple strings on the little two, what do you call them, shish kebab or barbecue rods, where you go ahead and put them so you can just line up and you have the string over your ball. But even bigger change for you is your putting grip. Let's talk a little bit about what you have been doing and what you've done and what you feel like it's doing for you.
Initially I had
Why don't you hold it right up here a little bit more and kind of hold your hands like this so everybody can see.
Yeah, initially my putting grip was just a reverse overlap over my right pinky finger. And I was releasing the putter a little bit too early with that grip and pulling most of my putts.
So the club face was coming through and closing, so you felt like you were having a little too much hand action.
Yes,
okay.
and missing a lot of putts to the left. So I was working on it for a while, and I was trying to find a grip that will help me keep my left hand more in control and
back of your left hand a little bit more stable, going through
towards
impact.
The target,
okay.
And I put my my left forefinger,
index finger goes right down there,
right there, right across my right hand, and put it in so I could stop the breakdown in my left hand.
You feel like when you're coming through now, we've got a little less breakdown. So really, what Tokes has gone from is taking a 10-finger grip and doing what we call the reverse overlap, and just barely putting his left index finger over his right pinky. Well, now he's extending it more down the outside of his right fingers. And that's helping to stop down what we call maybe getting a little case of the weebles or breaking down a little bit with your left hand.
Yes.
So this weekend, obviously, I saw you at Old South. You still had a good tournament, obviously finished 4th, just didn't quite take the advantage of the par 5s, like you said, after good tee balls. You didn't leave yourself in a great spot there.
Yeah.
But how do you feel like you rolled it this weekend? Because obviously we kind of just made that adjustment early last week. Tell us about the roll of the ball.
It was an improvement. Even at Jekyll Island, where my last tournament, where I did pretty well, I did not. I didn't roll the ball as well as I did this week. I made a good amount of putts, although I missed some. I hit a lot of good putts that just didn't go in, which happens, and I have to accept that. But my putting stroke in general was a lot better.
You feel like the ball's coming off a little bit more
exactly,
online.
and whenever I knew the line, I was almost sure that I was going to make the putt.
Well, that's a good feeling when you get over it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, just for everybody at home, a player such as yourself, who's actually a plus handicap, playing some very good golf, going to play collegiately, but I think the folks at home might be a little surprised as to when you're swinging the club, and you and myself, at Coach Adam, Coach Clive, all the other coaches are out on the range, what the simple thing is we're really working on you with to help your ball striking and consistency.
Yes, my golf swing mostly is keeping my head steady. Once I'm able to do that, I'm a lot more consistent golfer. I have a tendency to move up, down, or towards the ball, and keeping my head steady has helped me to be a lot more consistent and take those big numbers out of play.
And, you know, for you folks at home, as funny as it sounds, that's really it. Tokes, you know, his mechanics are very, very good, but we've been working on his motion because he has the tendency sometimes when he gets a little quick or under the gun to get a little bit of a more vertical drop than you sometimes like to see in a swing, if any at all. And when he gets a little movie, you become more reliant on timing, tempo, rhythm, and balance. And not that Tokes doesn't have good timing, tempo, rhythm, and balance, but under the gun, you like to have everything work together a little bit smoother, and by keeping that head steady, or like we like to say on the range, if the sun gets moving around too much, the planets are in big trouble. So we like to keep the sun nice and steady. So Tokes, thank you so much for showing everybody at home what you're working on, and we hope that it helps your game.
A great tip from Chris Tremblay and from Tokes Pedro. Maybe we all can use that when we head out to the golf course next time. You're headed out to the course soon.
I am.
As long as you got Dad in town, that's terrific.
Oh, yes. Kind of a family rivalry there.
Dad is Dr. Jerry Punch, famous broadcaster, NASCAR, college football and basketball and all that. That's where she comes from, the sports part. But you're going to beat him on the golf course, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No question there.
We'll be back with a report on all of that coming up on our next Golf Zone.